When the shelter worker locked the door behind me and said, "We've been searching for you for 30 years, I thought it was a mistake." Then she showed me a photo, one that shouldn't have existed. It was me. Same face, same scar on my jaw. But the picture was taken in 1992, and I had no memory of ever living that life. My name's Thomas Reid, and by the time I turned 50, I had nothing left. For the past 5 years, I'd been sleeping wherever I could, under bridges, in abandoned cars, behind the old train station in Detroit. I wasn't an addict or a criminal. Just a man who'd lost too much, too fast. I used to have a house, a job, a wife. Then the factory closed. My savings disappeared. And one morning, I woke up and couldn't remember half of my past. Not like, oh, I forgot where I put my keys, more like, whole chapters missing. The doctors at the clinic called it trauma-induced amnesia. Said I'd probably blocked things out after years of stress. But sometimes, when I dreamed, I'd see flashes of things I couldn't explain. A red bicycle with a missing wheel. A woman's laughter near a lake. A man's voice whispering, "Don't tell them your real name." Then I'd wake up and it'd all vanish, leaving me with that hollow ache in my chest. That winter was brutal. Snow piled up in alleys, and the cold cut through my coat like glass. I hadn't eaten in 2 days when I wandered into the city shelter on Pine Street. It smelled of coffee and wet clothes. And the volunteer at the front desk, a middle-aged woman named Grace, gave me a gentle smile. "Sit down, sweetheart," she said, sliding a bowl of soup toward me. "You look frozen." I ate like a man possessed, barely looking up. She kept talking, softly asking my name, my age, where I'd been sleeping. When I said Thomas Reid, she froze. Her spoon clattered against her cup. "I'm sorry." "Did you say Reid?" "Thomas Reid." "Yeah," I said, wiping my mouth. "Why?" She didn't answer. She just stood, walked to the back office, and closed the door. When she returned a few minutes later, 2 men were with her, one in a suit, one wearing a badge. "Mr. Reid," she said carefully, "I need you to come with us. It's important." I frowned. "Did I do something wrong?" "No," she said softly, glancing at the badge. "You've done nothing wrong, but we've been searching for you for 30 years. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments about which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story." I wanted to laugh, to tell her she had the wrong guy. But then the man in the suit opened a file, laid a photo on the table, and my world tilted. It was me. Same gray eyes, same scar. But the photo was taken in 1992, and the name written underneath wasn't Thomas Reid, it was Daniel Mercer. I stared at the photo for a long time. The man in it wore a dark suit, standing in front of a brick building, with the words Mercer Technologies engraved above the door. His hair was darker, his shoulders broader, but there was no doubt. It was me. The badge-wearing man spoke first. "Mr. Reid, or should I say, Mr. Mercer, you disappeared on May 12, 1993. No note, no bank activity, no contact with family. You were officially declared dead in 2003. Declared dead. My voice came out hoarse. You've got the wrong guy. I don't even know what Mercer Technologies is." Grace set her hand on my arm. "Thomas, please. Just listen." The man in the suit introduced himself as Agent Dawson from the Missing Persons Division. He explained that Mercer Technologies had been a defense contractor in the early 90s, one that shut down after its CEO, Daniel Mercer, vanished. Apparently, I'd been a wealthy engineer, married with 1 son. My wife had filed dozens of missing reports before she remarried and moved to Colorado. My son, now an adult, was still searching for me. I wanted to tell them it was impossible, but deep down, something shifted. A flicker of memory, an office, fluorescent lights, blueprints spread across a table. Then a flash of heat, alarms, and a hand grabbing mine, shouting, "Run!" It vanished as fast as it came, leaving me dizzy. "I don't remember any of that," I muttered. "I don't even remember who I was before 2005. Dawson exchanged a look with Grace. "You were found in Chicago that year," he said. "Hospital records list you as a John Doe with head trauma. You gave the name Thomas Reed days later, saying it was your real one. But there's no record of any Thomas Reed before then, not one. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. Grace spoke softly. You've been living someone else's life for nearly 2 decades. Before I could answer, Dawson handed me another photo. It was an aerial shot of a burned warehouse, the edges blurred by smoke. This was your company headquarters, destroyed the same night you vanished. 6 people died. Arson, your fingerprints were found on the detonator. My stomach dropped. You think I did that? Dawson didn't blink. We don't know what to think. But someone wanted you garnered. They almost succeeded. He slid a business card across the table. There's someone you need to meet. A woman named Eleanor Price. She worked for you before the fire. She's the one who convinced us you were still alive. I asked where she was, but he didn't answer right away. She's under protection, Dawson said finally. Whoever destroyed your company is still out there and they're watching for you. That night, Grace let me stay in one of the shelter's back rooms. I lay on the cot, staring at the ceiling, the name Daniel Mercer replaying in my head like a ghost whisper. If it was true, if I really was that man, then someone had stolen not just my memory, but my entire life. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the photo of the man who was supposed to be me, standing confidently in front of a company I didn't remember building. Daniel Mercer. The name felt foreign and familiar all at once. Like hearing a song you used to know but can't recall the lyrics to. By morning, I'd made up my mind. I needed to meet Eleanor Price. Agent Dawson picked me up in an unmarked car just after sunrise. We drove out of the city, through back roads lined with bare trees, until we reached a quiet town 2 hours north. He parked in front of an old farmhouse, surrounded by frost-bitten fields. She's inside, he said. But tread carefully. The things she's about to tell you, they'll change everything. Inside, Eleanor was waiting by the fireplace. She was older, now late 60s maybe, but her eyes were sharp, alert. When she saw me, she froze, covering her mouth with trembling fingers. Oh my God, she whispered. It is you. I hesitated. You knew me. She nodded slowly. I worked for you for almost 10 years, Daniel. You founded Mercer Technologies after leaving the military. We designed surveillance systems for national defense until the government contracts stopped. That's when they came. I asked. Eleanor's eyes darkened. The investors, the people funding your research in secret, they wanted something you refused to give them. What was it? She walked to a drawer and pulled out a small black drive, setting it on the table between us. You called it Project Halcyon, a prototype AI system capable of predicting human behavior, crime, war, financial collapse. You built it to protect people, but they wanted to weaponize it. I stared at her, unsure whether to laugh or panic. You're telling me I created an AI that could predict the future? Not predict, she said quietly. Anticipate. Understand patterns faster than human thought. You were close to finishing it, until someone sabotaged the lab. You tried to destroy everything before they could steal it. My pulse quickened. The fire. Eleanor nodded. You saved my life that night, but they caught you outside the city limits. There was a struggle, then nothing. We all thought you were dead. I sank into a chair, my head spinning. Images flashed through my mind: sirens, flames, the smell of smoke, someone screaming my name. For the first time, the memories didn't feel like dreams. They felt real. Who are they, Eleanor? I asked. She looked toward the window, her voice trembling. The ones who own the companies you see on every billboard. The people who never want to be found. You crossed them once, Daniel, and if they find out you're alive, they won't make the same mistake twice. Before I could reply, headlights flashed outside. A car had pulled into the long driveway, its engine rumbling low. Dawson's hand went to his holster. Eleanor's face went pale. She whispered, "It's too late." The car's engine idled outside for several long seconds, the low rumble echoing through the frosted air. None of us spoke. The only sound was the faint hiss of the fireplace behind Eleanor. Then, the headlights cut off, and the world outside went silent. Dawson pulled back the curtain slightly and peeked through. "To men," he murmured. "Dark coats. No markings on the vehicle. Government plates scratched out." Eleanor's voice dropped to a whisper. "They found you." My pulse thundered in my ears. "Who exactly are they?" "The same people who tried to erase you," Dawson said, motioning for me to stay back. "Stay quiet, and whatever happens, don't run outside." But before he could reach the door, a loud knock shook the house 3 heavy pounds. Deliberate and slow. Eleanor stepped forward, clutching the edge of the table. "Don't answer it." The knocking came again, louder this time. Then a voice almost casual. "Agent Dawson, we know you're in there. Step out, and no one gets hurt." My stomach twisted. They knew his name. Dawson turned to me, jaw tight. "There's a back exit through the kitchen. When I give the signal, take Eleanor and move." "Wait, what about you?" I asked. He didn't answer. The third knock came with a crash as the front door burst open, splinters flying across the room. 2 men in black tactical gear stormed in, guns raised. One of them shouted, "Federal Task Force. Stand down." But something in his tone didn't sound official. There were no badges, no insignias, just masks and silence. Dawson fired first. A single deafening shot that sent the men diving for cover. Glass shattered. Eleanor screamed. I grabbed her arm, dragging her toward the kitchen as bullets tore through the walls. We stumbled out the back door into the cold night, the sound of gunfire fading behind us. My lungs burned as we ran through the frozen field toward the woods. When we finally stopped, Eleanor bent over, gasping for air. "They won't stop," she whispered. "They think you still have the drive." "The drive?" I blinked. "You mean the one you showed me?" She nodded, clutching her coat pocket. "This is a backup. You built it to self-encrypt every 24 hours. Only your biometrics can unlock it. To them, it's worth more than gold." My head spun. "You mean they think I'm walking around with the key to their entire operation?" "Yes, and if they get it," she trailed off, looking terrified. "They can control everything: markets, elections, even wars." I stared at her. "Then we destroy it." She shook her head. "You tried that once, Daniel. Remember what happened to your company?" The weight of her words hit hard. The fire, the missing years, the memory loss, it all came back in flashes. The explosion, the shouting, someone injecting me with something before everything went dark. Eleanor touched my arm gently. "They didn't just erase your company, Daniel. They erased you." From the distance, the faint glow of headlights appeared again through the trees this time. More than one set. Eleanor's voice trembled. "We have to keep moving, because if they catch you again..." She didn't finish the sentence, but I already knew how it would end. We ran until the forest thinned and the trees gave way to an abandoned rail yard. The air thick with rust and cold. My legs ached, but Eleanor didn't slow down. She moved like someone who'd been running her whole life from the same ghosts, now chasing us. The engines of the approaching SUVs grew louder, cutting through the silence. We ducked behind a derailed freight car, both of us gasping for breath. "Eleanor," I whispered, "we can't keep running. We have to end this." She glanced at the small black drive in her hand, the one she'd risked everything to keep hidden. "There's only one place we can go," she said quietly. "The safe house north side of the river. It's where I rebuilt part of the Halcyon servers after the fire. If we reach it, we can expose them." "Expose who, exactly?" I demanded. "You keep saying they, but who are they?" Her eyes met mine. "You already know. You just don't remember." Before I could reply, a voice echoed across the yard. "Daniel Mercer." The beam of a flashlight cut through the darkness, landing directly on us. We bolted. The beam followed footsteps pounding behind us. I heard a gunshot, then another. A bullet ricocheted off the metal car, inches from my head. Eleanor stumbled, but I grabbed her arm and pulled her toward a maintenance shack up ahead. We burst through the door and slammed it shut. I looked around. The place was old, cluttered with rusted tools and dust-covered machines. There was no way out except a small window. Eleanor clutched her chest, breathing hard. We don't have much time. She pulled a small device from her Paquita portable transmitter. If we can connect this drive to a signal tower, we can upload the truth. Halcyon's full archives. The world will finally see who they are. I hesitated. And if they catch us before that? She smiled faintly. Then, at least they won't bury the truth again. Before I could respond, the door exploded inward. Men stormed in, shouting commands. I pushed Eleanor toward the back window as a shot rang out. She cried out, collapsing against the wall. I shouted, grabbing her as the room filled with smoke and shouting. She pressed the drive into my palm, her hand shaking. Daniel, you finished Halcyon before the fire. It's still out there. It's you. What are you talking about? I asked, panicked. She smiled weakly. Your consciousness, the core algorithm. You didn't just build it. You uploaded part of yourself into it. Then her eyes went still. Anger and shock collided inside me. The men closed in, their flashlights slicing through the haze. I bolted for the window, smashing it with my elbow and diving through. Pain tore through my arm as I hit the ground running. I didn't stop until I reached the river. The headlights behind me flickered like ghosts in the fog. I knelt by the freezing water, staring at the drive in my hand. My own reflection stared back hollow, unfamiliar. I whispered to myself, Daniel Mercer is dead. And then I threw the drive into the river. The ripples spread across the dark water, disappearing into silence. But as I turned to leave, my phone buzzed in my pocket. An unknown number. I answered without thinking. A distorted voice said, Mr. Mercer, we received your upload. Halcyon lives. The line went dead. I froze. My reflection in the water flickered again for a second like static on an OLED screen. Somewhere deep inside, a voice that wasn't quite mine whispered back, We're not done yet.